May I have your attention? May I please have your attention? Super Sundays. Yeah, baby. We're back at it again. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Let's get it. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sir Hale Speaks Super Sundays. I'm glad that you're here. I wanted to take a moment to tell you guys how much I appreciate you. We've been doing these shows for months now, and you guys have been showing up consistently as we take on and we tackle different challenges and different topics. So I appreciate it. But here's what we're trying to do going forward. We want to grow this audience to people who need to hear content like this. And so we need your help. How can you help us? That's a fantastic question. Be sure to make sure you hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell for all of the content that we have, particularly Super Sundays. All right, guys, sit back, relax, enjoy. Make sure you invite somebody to Sir Hale Speaks Super Sundays. We're getting ready to go in. We're going to have a good time. Happy Sunday, everybody. Let's get to the show.
Go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. I OD. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. I OD. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Down, levitate, going up, elevate. Watch me demonstrate. On time, never late. I grind, celebrate. No pump, fake, hesitate. I've been scoring every day. Champagne, Perrier. Since 9-3, been in the box, now I'm stepping up tone. Like straight out the sandlot, now I'm plotting on the globe. I work hard, I show love, that karma steady growing. Got this far, I go hard, let God take control. I was starving skinny, now my weight up, got no energy for haters. See you trying, see you later. I'm shooting for the stars, need no laser beam, blowing like the greatest, but it's one who's always greater. Yo, go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. I OD, apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees, go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. I OD, apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. Smile good, skin clear. This here my year. Hey, look up here. This here my tier. Same fit 4 days. I grind 4 ways. I play no games. All me, no blame. On the wave, my own wave. Can't stop my shine. In the lane, my own lane. Can't stop my grind. 40 yard in the V12 and like 1.5. At 19, I clip 19 in a month, no lie. Oh God. I was starving skinny, now my weight up, got no energy for haters. See you trying, see you later. I'm shooting for the stars, need no laser beam, blowing like the greatest, but it's one who's always greater. Yo, go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. I OD, apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees, go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. I OD, apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees.
Young is coming to you live from a place where nobody else know to take it. They hand out, they want us to split the pie, right? Cause they realize that we gone crazy. Yeah, I flipped my pie, really did that 180. Yeah, skirt. I flipped my pie, really did that 180. Young is coming to you live from a place where nobody else know to take it. They hand out, they want us to split the pie, right? Cause they realize that we gone crazy. Yeah, I flipped my pie, really did that 180. Yeah, skirt. I flipped my pie, really did that 180.
Who's that gon' tell me I can't do it? Better be on time with my bankroll. Talk fat, no ball cat, no lit word. Routine like clockwork, my wrist word.
I flourish the cook, got no roof on it. I'm taunting, I'm all in the moment. Everything lit, I don't miss. Till someone get John on the line, say the invoice is coming. I'm thumbing through stacks of that cold ball. Show off, they treating my life like it's no law. I never reflection of my means. I spit the cream on my tribe, don't I? Don't phone me, don't know me, you not regime. To the one with the condom, my eye is on it. Yeah. I see you move through the place, they precaution, they snaking, they seeing me. Money tree, wake up the royalties. I got a queen, yeah, she go with me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the Sir Hale Speaks podcast. I'm going to go ahead and get the welcomes out, and we're going to go ahead and talk about it. Y'all see the title. It was all a rumor, but all rumors have some truth, right? Right. Let me go ahead and get the greetings out of the way so we can go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and do this. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a sensational Sunday like no other. Get ready to elevate your weekend with Sir Hale Speaks Super Sunday podcast. Join us as we embark on an inspiring journey of wisdom, wit, and wonderment with one of the only Sir Hale Speaks. Now, every Sunday, we're diving deep into the realm of knowledge, laughter, and thought-provoking conversation. Whether you're sipping your morning coffee, lounging in your favorite armchair, or out on a refreshing Sunday stroll, this podcast is perfect companion. Get ready to be enlightened, entertained, and engaged. So sit back and relax and let the Super Sunday podcast infuse your day with positivity, insight. It's time to kickstart your Sunday in style with Sir Hale Speaks. Once again, I'm going to introduce myself. I am Lost in Translation Podcast. I'm here to make sure that we facilitate the evening tonight. So tonight, I'm going to go ahead and recognize a few people in the chat. First of all, I want to recognize, let's see who we have. First of all, we have Sir Hale in the chat. Y'all give it up for Sir Hale. Give it up. And also we have, who else do we have in the chat? CBN, of course, we got CBN. Shushu, Shamiria, Lady Navoy in the chat. Yes, indeed. Hey, Shushu, how you doing, darling?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
That's right. We had to give you some sprinkles. We always take care of our ladies on the show. We got to give
them
okay. Right, sprinkle, baby. Go ahead, Black Dave. Let's go ahead and bring the rest of them up today. How you doing today, Shushu?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
Doing good. We got the one and the only Ronan in the house. What's happening?
It was
Ronan?
good. It was good, people.
How you doing, sir? And
good.
We got another one. Come on, Sean. Sean, tell us what you got on today, sir. Go ahead.
I have my garbs from Ghana. Straight out of Ghana. I am looking for a village lady, so I wanted to attract her.
That's
so,
right.
Shushu, are you village? Yeah, I am.
Oh my God. And my Dr. Umar voice, I better not. None of y'all out there celebrating that white man's holiday. You out there and you better be something black. It better be all black.
That's right. Tell
So
them
yes, we said what's up.
Tell them again, Sean.
Yes. In my Labor Day outfit, see, I am not laboring today.
Okay.
See, I am not laboring today. I am actually showing that we do not have to labor. We are true kings and queens.
That's right.
Wakanda forever.
That's right. Let's see who else we got in the chat. We got Scam Likely. We got Dust. Lady Navoy. Yep. And sir, of course, we got with Sir Hale Speaks. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get it started. We're going to talk about rumors today. Oh my goodness. We're going to start it off. Black David, go ahead and let's get started, man. Let's go ahead and roll that beautiful bean footage. Let's see what we got.
Let's be real. If ain't no other social media influencer gonna say it, baby, I'ma say it, especially as a Christian social media influencer. Please stop comparing your life to the lives of people that you see on social media. Half the time, baby, you don't even know what you're comparing yourself to. Please remember that people use social media to show the highlights of their life, not the bad parts, not the dark parts. You don't know what this person is going through or what's going on in their life. Because, baby, I know it may all look like ice cream and sweet dreams, but baby, that's all I'm gonna say. You don't know what somebody's struggle may be. You don't know what they doing right before they come on here and click this camera and be like, hey guys, so today we're gonna real deal. Half the time I get on here, y'all, I might have just got done crying to God about something. I might have just got done having a breakdown about something. It was just so heavy on my heart to say this today for some reason. So please just stop comparing yourself. You don't know the behind the scenes. You just see the final production. Just don't ever compare your grass, your real grass, to somebody's plastic grass.
She would say that.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it. We're gonna start with Ronan this time. Ronan.
You eat popcorn.
Get him. Yeah,
you eat popcorn Ronan like that. Ooh, this is juicy. Let me listen.
You know, I'm not gonna do you like that, man, because I used to hate when the teacher did me like that too, man. So we're gonna start with Shushu. We're gonna start with Shushu. Shushu, the question is, social media has made it easy to have an opinion without valid facts. What's your thoughts on that? Just based on the video.
Definitely. It most definitely has. You know, the most important thing is like working in customer service. When I used to work in customer service, one of the things I noticed is like people just want to be heard. Like when people come and complain about something, like even if you didn't offer like you know, like some kind of resolution or something like that, or you know, something like you really couldn't resolve about whatever the issue was. Really, all they wanted is just for you to hear them out. Like that's it. Like they were happy with that. And it showed me that it's not only true to when people complain, but also to social media. These are outlets for people who don't feel like they have a voice to express themselves. And you know, it's not always positive, but it is an outlet of expression nonetheless. And another point she talked about was like, don't fall for all the stuff you see on social media, because you got to remember people will only show you what they want you to see, and they will always most times they always show you like the best parts of their life, you know. And so, you know, when you sitting there scrolling through your feed, you like, oh, they're having fun, I want to have fun, why am I not having fun, my life must suck because I'm not having fun, you know. And like you fall into this like this abyss of like, you know, depression and stuff like that, because it's like, oh, my life didn't even go on like that. And where in reality, you know, behind the scenes, you know, they life could be in shambles. So
Yeah,
you know, you can't really just go off of everything that you see. Don't buy into it.
That's right. People always gonna show you their highlights, but they don't never show you the fine print. Okay. All the time.
And then the fine print, the low lights that they show are lights that should be in the dark. It should not be on Front Street. Like that ain't for everybody to know.
They want you to put that the Cash App out there. You know what I'm saying? You know how it is. Hit me with the Cash App. You know what I'm saying? Look it up. GoFundMe. You know what I'm saying? All the worst stuff. Anything that you can put a GoFundMe out there, go and put that out there. Okay. Come on, Ronan. We're gonna give you an opportunity to redeem yourself, sir.
Well, I'm glad we're having this conversation because I've seen things in real time behind the scenes. People act like they're charitable. They'll stand next to someone who's less fortunate, and then when the camera's off, they like kick them in the chest and keep it pushing. Or you'll see people say like, "I got it lit," you know, I'm living my life, and either they're living from hotel to hotel, or escorting from the Red Roof Inn, or having a photo shoot at the Dollar Inn, which I drop people off at. And some people act like they're together, but they don't show the arguments they had beforehand and the multiple takes of them stuttering, stammering, and trying to live the lie they're living in real time. So it gives you a chance to edit your reality to make it look like you're much more than what you are.
Yeah, absolutely right. Have you seen those videos of people like living in their vans and they'll show you how glamorous it is? Yeah. But they don't never show you nobody tapping on their window in the middle of the night. You know what I'm saying? Bothering them and stuff, you know. They don't never show that part. They don't never show that part.
I've seen that in real time too. It's like someone made it look like they had it together. And I see them in person. Their house was filthy. They had like laundry sheets on every other step. The dog ran out the oven. Their bed was held up by...
I can assure you, I don't answer to anyone.
And their bed was held up by 3 cinder blocks and a big ass rock. So the reality stranger than fiction.
I believe it. I believe it. Sean, what's your word on this one, man? Social media has made it easy to have an opinion without valid facts. Is that true?
Well, I was in the entertainment industry well before social media, and nothing is different. It's just exposed more because of social media. This is the land of the free to become whatever you want, free to look like and create a perception however you want to. And so it's nothing surprising to me. Everything that Ronan just said and Shushu said, I've witnessed as well. So it's nothing. I'm so used to it at this point that social media, I just chuckle at it. It's kind of like my television at this point. I look at it all as entertainment, no matter. But I was always that way. I used to go to churches and look at them as entertainment. I was like, oh, he putting on a good show. Look at that pastor.
You're absolutely right. You know what I noticed too, man? I noticed that sometimes when people compare themselves to other folks' lives, man, they say comparison is the thief of joy. Your life was fine until you open up that little app and you was like, somebody doing better than me. You know what I mean? That was always the case. And my whole thing is that you should never compare your life to anybody else because you don't know what they had to go through to get what they had to get, And most people don't know what you had to go through to get where you had to get. Sometimes people make sacrifices that you have no clue about. So my thing is to make sure, man, you get the real deal, the scoop, you know what I mean? And just find out what's really going on. So
well, Lois, and to add on to what you're saying, comparison is not really a bad thing. It's envy that becomes a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because you have to sometimes compare to get an evaluation or to at least set a stage of where you want to go or what you want to be. So it can be healthy depending on what you're comparing it to. So like you comparing myself to Kobe Bryant, if I want to be a basketball player, or Michael Jordan, like Kobe Bryant did, he compared himself to Michael Jordan and he became better at it. He wasn't envious. He was actually admirable in Jordan's ways. So he tried to mimic that and he became one of the best, if not the best, arguably, in all of basketball and all of the NBA. So that comparison could be healthy. But when you envy and when you start admiring things and not appreciating what it is that you have or who it is that you are, it becomes dangerous.
You're right.
And there's another thing too. It's like it's with the relationship part, that's the most dangerous, because a lot of people think they got together, live in this dream house, when really this person is in an Airbnb. You don't know if they're squatting. You don't know if the house looks furnished on one side and then they're sleeping on a sleeping bag next to the oven. So you just don't know.
Yeah, and those are extremes. But I've run into a lot of people who had everything, but were just unhappy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think?
I want to add piggyback to that too. Like something Sean was saying, like, when you look at what other people have and it may be something that you desire to have or something that you're aspiring to have. You can't really be jealous or envious of it. Sinbad said something one time that like hit home for me so hard, and I never forgot it. He said, when because he was asked a question like, when you look at comedians who haven't been in the game as long as you have, haven't put in as much work as you have, but they're more successful. Like, how does it make you feel? And Sinbad was like, you just kind of got to put blinders on. And you just got to remember. He said he just looks at it like this: if it was me, would I be mad? You know what I mean? And that's the way I look at things. If it was me, would I be mad? And the answer is no, I wouldn't. So I want people to be happy for me. So that's what I do. I try and be happy for other people. Like and you do want to see good things happen to good people, especially. Like, so yeah, that's the way I look at it.
What about the bad people?
The bad people. I used to have pride. I had to say a prayer for myself. I'm like, Lord, what am I doing wrong, Lord? What am I doing wrong? Sorry.
Like these heathens is famous. What I got to do? You know what I'm saying?
What is going on, Lord? What am I doing wrong?
Yeah. The irony is that most of them are, and that's what I learned in the music industry or the entertainment industry, is that a lot of heathens are famous. A lot of people who compromise their integrity have a lot of fame and have a lot of accolades. But to your point that you said, lost in translation, is that we don't know what they had to sacrifice in order to get that. We don't know what they might have had to compromise in order to get that. I have had the opportunity to see some of those compromises. So it really helped balance me in my pursuit, because I'm like, yo, I don't know if I want all that, more money, more problems. Ain't never lie.
You're right. Like that example that you had about Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. Kobe Bryant didn't mind doing the work. See, that's the difference. So a lot of people want what you want, but they don't want to be in the gym shooting. You know what I'm saying? Kobe found out exactly what Michael did. He was like, whatever it takes. You know what I mean? He emulated some of his moves. You know what I mean? He did everything. You know what I mean? And as a result, he was just as good as Mike. And some people argue, say he was better, but that's another argument for another day. But my whole thing is this: you can't want something without putting in the work. You know what I mean? I think that's a lot of problems with a lot of people. They like to look over at their neighbor's yard and see that nice Jaguar, but they don't see the neighbors up in the middle of the night working on their small business. You know what I mean? Doing the things that they need to be successful. They think people just pull up to the dealership and they just hand them the keys, and that's normally not how that works. You know what I mean? 9 times out of 10, somebody had to put in some work and make some sacrifices. They probably a couple probably had money fights and all kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Sacrifices. We can't go on vacation this year or for the next 2 years. You said you want this car, so this is what we have to do it. Or if he had to go in and work an extra job, or start another business. You never know what people have to do to get those things. And then all of a sudden, you get somebody pressuring their husband. Well, Mr. Jones, he bought his wife a new Jaguar. He must obviously love her. You know what I'm saying?
Something they also
don't you love me as much as Mr. Jones loves Mrs. Jones?
They also don't see the price of that the oil change and the maintenance fees for the Jaguar. Also don't see the price of them tires when they change them tires out for that Jaguar, because it's not the same as it is for that Honda Civic or the Accord you got. It's a whole different ball game. Okay,
y'all hitting me hard right now. Man.
It's the maintenance of the lifestyle that people don't calculate. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Y'all hit me hard right now because I have a Jaguar and it's $5 plus for gas right now. Those tires that you were just talking about, they hit hard. That maintenance is something else, man. So I'm just sitting here smiling with a depressed undertone.
Right.
The pain radiating.
Oh man.
But believe it or not, there's somebody is wishing that they had your car. You know what I'm saying? They want to be you.
I'm like, yo, come take it. Come get it, please. we could switch. I used to say that to people all the time. Oh, I would like that. We could switch. Let me know your schedule. We could switch.
I'm telling you, man, if you threw all your problems up in the air and everybody else threw their problems, now I promise you, nobody will want to get yours. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to get their own problems back.
Man, absolutely. What's interesting about what y'all was saying? It's funny when somebody's envious and don't know the sacrifices made from an outside looking in. But it's even more difficult when somebody's on the inside, when you're in a relationship with somebody who don't understand how much you sacrifice in order to get what you get. So that's a whole nother day, a whole nother topic, but definitely something we can think about.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. There's one thing that they see you working and then don't appreciate it. That's the worst, man. That is the absolute worst. Anybody had any other questions before we move on to the next topic, the next video? Anything else? Nope. All right, Black David, run that beautiful bean footage one more time.
If I cheat, I have a bond with that man. I'm not like having sex for a nut. I have a bond with that man that I'm cheating on. Like, I've built some type of emotional connection. I could probably finesse him into a relationship. We have something a lot deeper than sex. Where I feel like a man could he could screw some girl in the back of an Uber. He won't even know her last name. It doesn't mean he doesn't love me. It's just sex. Like, he doesn't have any emotional commitment. I could get pregnant type shit. So I feel like me cheating is a way bigger party than him cheating.
You know what? We hear this all the time in these streets, man. We do. The question is, a man can cheat and it means nothing, but a woman can. Ronan, we're gonna start with you on this one, man.
In a sense, it's kind of capped because there's some out there that have done some late night gymnastics that just change your perspective on things. You tend to get attached a little bit. You put them in a different category sometimes, and then some guys get caught in their feelings when it's not reciprocated. But just to go out there and just smash any old other thing, especially how dangerous the streets are, nah. Guys get out that bed with some feelings too. It's just post-nut clarity reveals a whole lot.
Absolutely. Sean, what you think, man?
Wow, post nut clarity. That's fine. Oh man, I think that as he said, that is cap. I think that we are different uh, biologically, men and women, but a lot of our sentiments and feelings are similar. There are men who definitely cannot detach, who grow a sense of attachment once they start getting intimate with a woman. There are women who don't attach whatsoever. I've seen it bad. I've seen some women break men. Like, yo, don't you know we were just having sex? Why are you all on me like that? Why are you sitting there? So on, etc. So all of that, oh, it's oh, woe me, oh, we can't do that. Women aren't supposed to do that. That was a myth back in the days because women was doing it then. They was just a little bit more sneaky about it because they had to be, in fairness, because a man will put hands on you back then a lot quicker. Well, let me take that back. But a man will put hands on you. Whereas now they have really a lot more protection to be able to do what they want without those consequences. And they're very vocal and honest about it. And we don't like to hear it. We try to deny it. And some of them still try and disguise it. But it's just more open right now. Social media has made a lot of things normalized. Remember back when we were younger? I don't know how old y'all are, but when I was younger, rated R was damn near X.
Pretty much.
Now, not today.
Man, rated G. I look at TV and see some things that I tried to sneak around, and I don't know if y'all ever had it wasn't HBO, it was the other one. But
Cinemax.
It was lines. Cinemax. And there were lines. You would try and look through the lines.
Got the scramble wiggle. You know what I'm
saying? Exactly. But man, now it's just out there. There's so many things. Nah, I think it's cap. They like to say that because they still like to disguise it at times. They still like to be discreet and incognito. But yeah, they're still in the same way. I can have sex and not have any attachment whatsoever, no matter how many people run up in me. It's an unfortunate reality.
Shoo. From the lady's perspective.
I used to think like that before I moved to New York. And New York has opened my eyes to a lot of things. And especially being in entertainment has opened my eyes to a lot of things. What I have learned is that all of that the ability to sleep with someone without catching feelings and all of the stuff is based on the person's number one perspective of sex, and number two, ability to compartmentalize. Something I could not understand for the life of me, because it happened quite often, and still does to this day, is how women sleep with people to get where they have to go. And that's not just in entertainment, but also in every aspect of business, politics, whatever. I just couldn't for the life of me understand, how could they bring themselves to do that? And I went to this, it was a talk back. This woman, her name was Sheila Nevins. She was the president of HBO documentaries. And she was talking about, some of the early on in her career, her experience and stuff like that. And she admitted, she was like, she would sleep with her superiors to get promotions. And she was like, and it worked. But she just, and this is the moment when she said this, that it clicked for me. She said, I just looked at it as a cost of doing business, which means this is just part of what comes along with it. You know how, when you work and you get your paycheck and taxes come out of your check, you may not like it, but that's a cost of doing business. It's a cost of working. That's part of what comes with it. Well, you know what? Some women look at it like that. And I understood her perspective of it was, this is just a business transaction. I want this, he wants this, we make this exchange, and boom, I get what I want and go on about my business. Whereas my perspective was, oh my God, this is a moral This is a moral crime. I've committed a spiritual criminal act. I am going to hell. My God, I'm going to die. Lord, forgive. For her, it had nothing to do with that at all. And when you look at it like that, from her, really? But when you look at it, a person looking at it through that perspective can go home at night, close their eyes, and sleep like a baby. You hear me? But when it weighs on your conscience like that, if you looking at it from a spiritual, moral perspective, like it weighs on your conscience. You know what I mean? And so for women and men too, who can't like detach the two, you know what I mean? Like sex means, and especially for women, it's more of we've been conditioned this way that sex is associated with love, with affection, with marriage, with commitment, and with all these things. And because it has been conditioned in us, you have a lot of women who can't separate the two. You have a lot of women who can't grasp the concept that men more often than not can have sex with women and not get attached. Even though you do have some men who they're pretty much in the same boat, they can't. But like you have a lot of women who can't grasp that concept. And the reason being is because men have been conditioned that being sexually promiscuous and denying it and you know what I'm saying, but denying it publicly, that's what you're doing, is okay, it's socially acceptable. Oh my God! Wow! So therefore, they compartmentalize sex. They view sex from a different perspective. You understand what I'm saying? So That's why it's different. So long story short, I went all in a roundabout way to say it all is based on your perspective, how you view sex, and your ability to compartmentalize sex. So both men and women have those issues, whether for the men and women who cannot separate feelings and emotionals and cannot have sex without attaching themselves to someone. That's because their perspective of how they view sex is a certain way. And for the men and women who can have sex with people and not attach themselves, is because of their perspective of sex and how they view it.
Amen. Amen. Shushu. But let's just be clear. Sex is and should be attached to some of those loving things that you described. Unfortunately, to your point, it's not. It's desensitized, it's separated, and men were the catalyst of starting that. We detached sex from everything that was moral and sacred and things of that nature. We made it transactional. And so women follow suit. I remember a girl who was she wasn't a senior VP, but I guess she could have been, but she was walking the streets and she told me, she said, yo, I do it. And I had this conversation because I knew her now man. And she was like, yo, I could do certain things like this with them. And I was like, how could you do it with them and not want to do it with him? She said, because with him, I think of it differently. With them, it was transactional, to your point. She said it was strictly transactional. I knew what they wanted. They knew what I wanted. We set a price. It was transactional. It was done. But with him, if I do it with him, I care for him. So it's something more to me. And so she actually had trouble with opening up intimately with her man because of other reasons. And I found it mind-boggling until she said, yo, it's just transactional for me. When I'm out there on them streets, when I'm walking the streets, it's transactional.
Come on, Ronan. I know you want to say something. You're on mute, Ronan.
No, I was gonna let you go, but since I'm here, might as well speak on it.
Go ahead.
I guess it depends on the individual. I say for myself that I've been put in that mode to where doing a hat trick is something that's achievable. But it matters like with that level of connection and frequency. Like some people use like, nah, I'm not gonna do that, and others all hands on deck. We doing this. So it just depends on that situation, that person. But in most cases, you have like that moral standard. It's like, okay, I have a view on this. If I'm passionate about this person, I'm gonna give all this person. But sometimes you run that person that just unlocks that freak, and you have that whole key, and then it's all over.
So it's a wrap after that, huh?
Yeah. 3 days later.
So is that what you meant by trick bag?
No, that's something different.
So that's something different.
There's like a financial trick bag, and then there's a freaky trick bag. That's where the spending night bag come through.
Let me say, one of the hardest things I had to realize is that the people who you think want to be in a committed relationship not always the same type of person. You know what I mean? For men, we associate beauty with somebody who wants to be in a committed relationship. And one of the hardest lessons I had to find is that ain't true. You know what I'm saying? The very ones you would think, the pretty ones, the ones that walk around with sprinkles on at all times, you know what I'm saying? And you're thinking, oh yes, I know she wants to get married, but simply she just want to be choked out. That's the hardest pill to swallow, man. So my thing is this: you have to make sure you have these conversations with people ahead of time. You know what I mean? And it's one of them things you got to wrap your mind around. You know what I mean? It's like, I thought you was different, but no, you ain't different.
Man.
But this is where the communication is key. Like you really have them some uneasy conversations,
right?
And start seeing where they're at, because some of either the most handsome ones or the pretty ones, sometimes they're wasting your sex minutes. You know, just when you get down in there, like, man, this is about bland as oatmeal. But then there's some who are cool, and you done pull a rabbit out they had. Like, I did not expect that, but let's do that again.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
They put it to the trick bag, huh?
Man. You know,
what's put that on there,
man. I agree with both of y'all, because first off, communication does not matter. Let me explain.
Come on.
Communication only matters if somebody's being honest. Otherwise, it don't matter, because they're going to communicate what you want to hear. You know what I mean? They're going to say what they think they want you to listen to, because that's what you say you want to hear. So that's what I mean by communication doesn't matter. Honesty matters. But to your point that y'all both said, and now we got 3 men who are agreeing, some of the most beautiful women that I've ever been with were the freakiest, whorish, abusive, wanting to be abused. I don't know why. And I couldn't understand it. It dumbfounded me. Were just horrible when it came to morals.
Listen, I can answer. Can I answer?
Come on, Shushu.
That's because the prettiest women have the most access to sex. You know what I mean? Like,
you want to explain
I
that.
can understand that.
They have the most access to sex. Like, not for nothing. Like, not to say that, you know, women who aren't as attractive don't have the most access to sex, but the women who are most attractive, they're the most pursued. You know what I mean? The women who are least attractive are kind of an afterthought. It's like, I guess I'll take it. Because the pretty girl.
Go ahead,
like,
you go ahead, man.
Man, you have a point there, Shushu, but let me get real now. The unfortunate thing and the reality that I've noticed, and I've been kind of studying it, is a lot of the prettiest women have fallen victim to traumatizing things.
Yes.
And so it kind of, if they don't heal or they don't recognize it, they start falling into place because they lose all of their self-respect often. And so they start looking at themselves as an object and acting like an object, as opposed and getting what they want for, you know, from whomever they can get it from, because they were disappointed because somebody possibly might have taken advantage or taken something from them at a stage where they weren't able to protect themselves. And that's the unfortunate reality that I've learned is pretty common in a lot of beautiful women who have those characteristics of being freak-a-leaks.
I definitely agree with Sean.
That and like they have like a lot of them have like daddy issues or something I can speak to. I noticed like when we talked about like age gap dating and stuff like that, a lot of the women who want men who are like, 15, 20, 30, 40 years older than them really are looking for a father figure. Most of those girls either have some kind of issue with their father or their father wasn't in their life or they don't have a relationship with their father at all, or they just didn't have a father and they're looking for one. And so they look for that in their man. Because I mean, other than that, like, what is it about an older man that much older than you that turns you on sexually? Like, I don't understand. Like, when I think of my father, like nothing like stimulates me sexually. Like I just
I have a question for you then, Shushu. I have a question for you. Could that man seduce your mind and make that appealing to you, to where he's able to broaden your horizons, be able to help you think, be able to help you get into places and spaces mentally that you've never been before? Could that be a turn on to you?
No. And I'm telling you why. Because when we talk about guys like men who are like my father's age, I look at them through the lens of a father or a father figure. So therefore, if they give me wisdom or like, they elevate my mind, my perspective is they're elevating my mind from a fatherly position, not from my lover.
Understood.
You know what I mean?
Understood.
So like I said, that's why it doesn't stimulate me sexually. Like, ew.
I guess you speaking from a standpoint that is not that common, which is having your father in your life.
Right.
And wow, and to us men, for every young girl, there's a sugar daddy. Yes, baby, there's a sugar daddy who wants to go ahead and give you a lollipop. And we need to stop that, men. We need to stop trying to give these young ladies lollipops.
Give them a little tata.
Oh
Lord. Come on, Ronan. I already know you got something to say. I see it in your face. You about to bust wide open. Come on.
There is that negative side with women who are attractive. Either they're the most insecure or they overcompensate. Most times when you start opening that door, you start to see the mental health issues show up in some interesting ways. As far as the mud ducks, that's a mixed bag. Because when guys have a situation where either he's trying to get his credit straight or he's going through a drought and he needs some batting cage booty, he'll hook up with a mud duck. And of course, the hours are like 11:45 to like 3:30. Or some guys are brazen it.
Ronan, stop, Ronan, stop. We cannot overlook the fact that some of them mud ducks be freaky and do whatever it is you want them to do too. So let's not just subtract that portion of what will attract us or get us. It's not just that they're being able to secure us, but they're a lot of times very freaky and will do things that just some other women just won't do.
Ladies and gentlemen, this show just took a turn.
Oh, yes, it did.
Yeah, it did.
John, tell us some of those things, man. What would they normally do that the average regular woman wouldn't do?
So I got my
What? You can have whatever you like. That's what they'll do. You say, hey, you can think of outlandish. The question is, what won't they do?
I was looking for cornbread or something like that, man. But hey, whatever it takes. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it takes.
You're just looking for cornbread.
I'm telling you, man. I thought he was gonna say they get in there and cook. You know what I mean? That type of thing. Cook your favorite meal. You know what I'm saying?
See, you from down south. I'm from up north. They ain't cooking up north.
They ain't cooking up
but
north.
They do have things cooking in the kitchen.
All right,
so to speak. But they ain't cooking food.
And she can drop your engine.
I'll give you a perfect example.
Come on.
And New Yorkers, y'all would know this. It was taboo to get oral sex when I was younger. But
Cap. Big cap. Go for what you know.
Those mud ducks, boy.
He was ready for
Quack,
that.
quack, quack.
I mean, but me with the mud ducks, they can never make the room dark enough. That's my main gripe. The street lamp always finds their face and like, damn, it's gonna ruin it now.
Well, you're right, Ronan. I didn't say that everybody participates in mud ducks, but the point is that those who do, I asked them the same questions, and these were the answers that I got. And I was like, oh, okay, because there were certain people, like you said, they could have turned off the lights, gave me your tools, and I still would have been like, nah, I'm good.
But salute to the guys who jump on those grenades when we need.
I jump on the grenades.
Hilarious. Y'all, anything else on this topic before we move on to the next one, man? Y'all hilarious. Nothing else, no more cornbread, no nothing. I want to add nothing else to this gumbo. All right, Black David, roll that beautiful bean footage. Next topic.
It's a controversial statement, but in a relationship, the man is the leader. Now that means your wife's mental health is your responsibility. If she has poor mental health, you didn't do your job correctly. You're the leader. You need to make sure the people you're leading are going very, very well. If they're not going well, it's your fault. You need to fix it. I know it's a very controversial statement, but if you take that responsibility on as a man, your family will succeed more efficiently.
Uh-oh. Come on, Ronan. Come on.
Lord.
Ladies first.
What's your thoughts? Oh, yeah.
Cap.
First.
I ain't anybody ask you for your opinion.
Wow.
I mean,
Come on, Shushu. Is it the man's total responsibility for everything that goes on? The man is totally responsible.
I think there clarity should be added to that context. I do think a certain amount of the mental health the man is partially responsible for, but then there's a part of the mental health that like is the like his partner's responsibility. Like, you know, he can't erase or undo childhood traumas or like, you know, things that happened to, you know, her like throughout her life until they got together. Like he can't undo or erase that. Like that's only a problem only she can fix. You know what I mean? Like he can help her get help, or he can help her like, you know, find ways or something like that to get through it or to cope. But like he can't fix that, bottom line. But as far as like her mental health, as far as like the way he treats her and like, you know, how he makes her feel and all that, like that is his responsibility. That's on his shoulders. But that's where I would say, like, you know, that the context needs to be added to that. And yeah, I mean, I do agree that, you know, as the man being the leader in the household, he sets the tone for the house. You know what I mean? So yeah, I would say he's responsible for the majority of how his household is led. But the bottom line is, you know, people are people still. So, and people have minds of their own. So if they choose to stray off the path, you know, that's not the man's fault. It's just a choice that somebody in the household made. So, but yeah.
All right, Sean, what you got for us?
The Lord himself could not be responsible for everybody when he created them. So how could it be that you expect a man to be fully responsible for choices that someone else makes? So his point was valid in reference to it's his responsibility to set the tone, as Shushu just said. But it's not his fault, is what I challenged in what he said. It's not the man's fault that she's having mental issues or she hasn't had them healed. because that's not something that he can do. And that's why I came in. The Lord himself. Because, he can bring you to the water, but he can't make you drink. The Lord has given us this one thing that is very powerful. It's called choice. And so with that, you cannot, put it on somebody else. If the Lord can't do it, what makes you think I'm gonna be able to do it? So that's kind of where I said, but I can recognize it. I can give suggestions to be helpful, but what it takes most importantly, and this is the uphill battle in relationships, is you being able to trust to be able to follow that lead. Because you're only a leader to somebody who's willing to follow.
All right, now. Come on, Ronan. I know you got something for us, man.
If I knew that every woman has their respective level of crazy. So I'm responsible what I have enlisted in. Now, either I help it evolve or I help it decrease. That's on my watch. Now, as far as her going on the range on her choice and doing something extra, that goes into actually a reflection of your leadership in a sense. If she actually respects you in a kind of way, you respect the environment you create for her to heal up and do it and grow in the right way, that says a lot. But if she's consistently crazy and you find no means or solutions to address that is your fault, because you are complicit with the nuts. Sometimes that little bit of crazy plays useful means in certain situations, but in general, that's going to turn your home into a messed up crazy house. So if you're going to maintain a home or an asylum, you got a choice.
Here's my thing. Whenever a relationship goes bad, we always like to blame the other person. You know what I mean? But I also find funny, we never ever hear guys accept the good part of when something goes good. You know what I mean? You never hear guys say, "You see that smile on her face? I put that there." You know what I'm saying? You don't never hear them say nothing like that.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? That's one of them old cats. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man.
Right. Yeah, guys don't advertise the good part, but whenever something goes bad, we quick to say, "Nah, that's on you." You know what I mean? But my thing is, what can we do as men to make sure that we make it easier for her to reach out for help? Because sometimes we don't always set the table the correct way to say, "Hey, I need help." Come on, Ronan.
I would say be a hyperactive listener and a strategic speaker. Give them room to flesh things out. And then sometimes the best way to solve things is to give her room to sit there and piece things together. But many times she's not looking for solutions. You're looking for someone to open up to. That way you can open other doors that she welded shut.
Come on, Sean.
You're right. I just don't have the patience to do it. Man, the resolution.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of patience to be able to. And the funny thing is, my therapist, a friend of mine who's a therapist, and before she was a therapist, we had this issue. She would call me and speak to me. I'm resolution based. So she would call and want to vent. And I'm like, yo, she'll call. And then one day she told me, she said, "Sean, sometimes we just want to vent." I said, "Okay, that's fair. Well, what you need to do is go call one of your girlfriends for that. Or let me know ahead of time that that's what you want to do, because I'm looking at it as you complaining. And I'm automatically looking for a resolution because I don't want to hear the complaints. I don't have the patience, the tolerance, the balance to listen to the complaint over and over, especially when I can see what it is, where the problem is rooted, which is usually you. So
say it again.
So I have And the funny thing is when you tell them it's you, that's when they tell you, I just want to vent. Okay, well, please.
That's when the meals close up.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, cool. I understand it, but I just wasted about an hour listening to you wanting to vent. And if that was the case, girlfriends, y'all, they enjoy that. Shushu, tell me if I'm wrong. Don't y'all like hearing each other talk about, yeah, he did this and you did. I don't feel like hearing that unless we're going to get to a resolution. Personally, that's just my opinion. Go ahead.
Is that true? Is that true, Shushu?
What? The women just like to vent?
Yeah.
I guess. Okay, that's the question.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess.
No further questions.
Yeah. Like, I mean, sometimes, like you were saying, Sean, it's like you are automatically thinking of a resolution. Sometimes she's not looking for you to give a resolution. She just wants you to listen. That's like just going back to like the first topic we were talking about. Like, we were talking about, social media and people, it being a place where people like to just say and speak in whatever they want to speak. People just want to be heard. And, you being like her lover, her man, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is the person I love. I want to be able to vent too. You know what I mean? Sometimes she ain't always looking for a solution. Like sometimes she just want to vent about her day. That's it.
Come on, Rona. I see it.
I'm curious. My first question is, how many calories are burned in bitching all day?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it just depends on the amount of bitching that you do.
Cap.
Is
it therapeutic to complain around the problem? Because guys just like standing there like, I'm just being honest. It's just like, okay, we see what's wrong and we're waiting for you to make that turn in here to meet us here.
I'm listen, y'all ask the question. Sometimes I'm just saying, listen. Sometimes your woman just wants to be able to get it out because it's the
cap.
That's all.
You know why I keep making this face? Because you keep using this word. Sometimes. No, y'all always, all the time, want to just vent and let it be. Y'all don't want no resolutions. Y'all don't want to hear. Y'all just want to hear. Y'all want us to be compassionate to listen to you talk.
Right.
You know what? I'm gonna let you in a little secret. Listen.
If you ever especially, I don't know if any of y'all ever worked in customer service. Like, but people complain a lot, and when they do it, like I said, like a lot of times even if you try and offer a solution, like they not really satisfied with it because and it has nothing to do with the resolution. It's just that they just want to vent. That's it. They just want to be heard. And most people are like that. And most people are like that. That's it. Like they don't. And my point to you, Sean, is like, yeah, a lot of times that's pretty much your lady. She don't want no resolution. She don't want no solution. She just want to get it out. She wants somebody. She wants somebody to listen to her. And you are her man, so you are that somebody that's supposed to
stop it. Get some help.
Please do. Please do.
Man.
Now listen, me personally, I don't complain a lot. Only because I feel like it's only two things. Is either you're gonna do something about it or you're not. Or you can do something about it or you cannot. And if you can do something about it, then you're going to do something about it or not. If you're not, shut up. If you're going to do it, and let it be what it is. If you can't do anything about it, then that's just end of story. You just can't do anything about it. Let it go.
You must have a lot of brothers.
But like, when I have issues and stuff like that, or like, something that's like constantly bothering me, like, yeah, I'll call my brother or call like my friends or something like that and vent. But like for the most part, I have a journal that I actually like write down in my journal and like to really get to the bottom of why is this bothering me so much? You know what I mean? And for me, it's more about like self-discovery and like, you know, really not letting this like weigh on my conscience or my spirit any longer than it has to. So I do that. But a lot of women don't. They look to you, the leader, prophet, priest, to be, yes, confidant, companion, all of that. You are all of that. And
wow.
I'll rebuke it. I'll rebuke it.
Incomparable.
Wow. I gotta say this. I just got an epiphany. You just blew my mind. Men, we are customer services.
Oh my God.
That's what I realized. I understand it now. I met this lady, and funny thing is, I met her, and she was telling me all this. I said, "Oh, you ain't looking for a husband. You're looking for a worker. You're looking for an employee." Mm-hmm. She's like, "No, what do you mean?" I said, "Yo, I just listened to what you said you needed. That's what you're looking for. You are looking for an employee." I said, "Well, guess what? I might be able to fill that position if you give me the application. But I just want you to understand that that's what you're looking for. You ain't really looking for a husband. You're just looking for a helpmate."
Fellas, I'm gonna let y'all know the
She
secret.
gotta help one to sign up.
Sir.
Y'all just need to take away man wanted. Just put help wanted.
Help
Go ahead.
Help
Go ahead.
wanted. Not man wanted, but help wanted. Listen, 9 times out of 10, fellas, I'm gonna let y'all a little secret. They already know what the answer is. They just want a little reassurance. They want a little bit of empathy. You know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, if you go back and you restate what they said, it'll make them feel better. You know? But like I couldn't imagine going through whatever they just said. You know what I'm saying? X, Y, and Z. You know.
All right, lost in translation.
I'm just saying,
You letting that light skin smooth brother come out.
I'm good at what I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm good at what I ain't been training people for 20 years on how to do this for no reason.
I'm learning.
Know what I'm saying? I know what I'm doing. But
I'm learning.
They just want reassurance, man. They don't want you to fix the problem all the time. You know? And ladies, on the other hand, when guys ask you what's going on, and when you just want to, you know, just vent, clear the time first and say, hey, you got a moment. Because 9 times he was probably busy doing something, probably for you. So if you clear the time and say, hey, look, you know, hey, you got a minute to talk. He's like, hey, I don't have time right now, but I got time around 6:30. Is that okay with you? Yeah, that's fine. And then you come back and do it, because if you stop him what he's doing, he's gonna think that's a 911 emergency. Mm-hmm. And since you his lady, he gonna stop what he's doing to fix whatever it is you need to have fixed. But if it's something that can wait, kind of let him know. Say, no, it ain't really an emergency. I just needed to vent for a minute. Now, sometimes you can give him the option, say, you know what? Oh, go ahead and tell me what you got going on. I'm pretty sure it ain't gonna take that long. And then you vent, and then y'all talk. Sometimes you got to clear the table, clear the time. That's all that is. That's an old customer service trick.
Go ahead, we are customers. I'm telling you, epiphany.
Listen, if you're gonna be in customer service, you should at least know how to do the job. I'm trying to put y'all up on game, man. Come on.
Well, we had to know that it was the job we was doing. I get it now.
You didn't know that customer service was a part of being the man?
Brother, man, no, I did not until just now. I told you it was a mind-blowing epiphany for me.
I just learned this today. I just learned this today, but I have a concern. Like, how much PTO am I getting since I'm customer service?
Well, y'all have to work that out with the benefits package. Right. You know what
I'm saying? Right. Yeah.
You have to negotiate your package. Exactly.
You got to negotiate your package. That's all that is.
Is hey.
Exactly.
And Rona, hence, that's what we call marriages. That's it right there in a nutshell.
Customer service and loss prevention. That's crazy.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it is. Customer service and loss prevention.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
Time she has lost her damn mind.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Come on, Black David. Y'all finish with this one. We're gonna.
Then I quit there.
CBS, I quit then. Come on now. Black David, let's go and move on to the next topic, sir. Roll that beautiful bean foot.
Sis, can I tell you the truth? It's very important that as a wife, You don't allow the culture to determine how you should treat your husband. Why? Because there's so many voices out there in the world, so many influencers that are giving you advice that's not real in a marriage that is successful. They're telling you that you don't have to listen to your husband, that you don't need to submit, that you should do your own thing, that you should make your own rules. And that is not applicable for a marriage that you want to work and a marriage that you want to submit to God. So if you want to know how your marriage is supposed to run, you go to God's word, which is the Bible. You don't go to social media influencers, particularly ones that are single and probably will be for a lot longer unless they learn how to treat their husbands. Remember that today and carry on.
All right now. All right. Now, this question is there an agenda to eliminate marriage and family? Come on, Shushu. What's your thoughts?
I don't know if it's necessarily an agenda. I just think that it's a hot topic and it's profitable and people are capitalizing off its profitability. I think that's what it is.
Cap.
Anybody ask you for your little commentary, admin? No, I really do. I think that it's more so, just more so, people see it as an opportunity to capitalize off of, and that's exactly what they're doing. But the byproduct of that the capitalizing that they're doing is the separation and the dissolution of marriage. And they don't really realize like the big catastrophe that they're causing. I think that's more so what it is. So
thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Sean, what you think, sir? Is there an agenda to eliminate marriage and family?
That's a tricky question. Agenda, probably not.
Cap.
Absolutely. There are many intentions to do it, but because hurt people, and most of the people that we're talking about are just hurt people. Whether it's hurt because gender conflict, whether it's hurt because confusion on sexuality, whether it's hurt because of poverty or whatever might have hurt you. A lot of people are hurt, and so with social media, we have a lot more platforms to expose it and to normalize it and to capitalize on it. To Shushu's point, and so is it a specific agenda to destroy the family? I don't think that they intention. Let me rewind.
Take your time.
Yes, there is an agenda that has existed long before social media here in America. That hasn't been absent and it hasn't changed. What it is that it has become a lot more advanced, subliminal. You know, it's kind of like the KKK used to wear white cloths and sheets over their heads, and now they just smile at you and become business owners and hire you to be their slaves. I don't want to go all the way in that direction and down that rabbit hole. So that's why I say no. There's not specific agenda to those who are in power now, because they're just following where money is, where the bag is. They ain't thinking about the effects of what happened because of the bag. Similar to how hip hop with NWA and gangster rap, we didn't think about the agenda behind. We was trying to get the bad, the exploitation, and recognizing what was going on in the streets was just something that we did in order to get there. But we didn't think we wasn't plotting against the neighborhood or the people who we grew up with. We were just trying to get the bag. So that's why I say no, it's not an agenda. But deeper, if we went down that rabbit hole, the agenda, because those people who allowed us to do that, to exploit it, who did pay us money to get those record deals, did have an agenda. Now, was it to destroy the family unit? I don't think so. I think it was a bit more direct and intentional to destroy a certain member of the family unit. But I don't believe that. But that divide starts there at the head, cut off the head. And so, yes, they want to separate the head from the family so that they can do whatever they want. If there's an agenda, that would be it.
Ronan, what you think, sir? Thank you, Sean.
I say yes. And when you look at it, when you have like strong families, you start to learn how to build wealth. When you have actual functioning communities, it's very hard to infiltrate those. That way, you don't allow the predators across the board to pick people off across the board. Our perspective of how we treat each other as mothers, fathers, brothers, and sons, if you keep them divided, they're easy prey. They had an adage that says, when an elder dies, a library is burnt down. And you look how, as far as like things we pass down, we have traditions. Our family union was our Super Bowl as far as our children. We started learning who we were connected to, things that we can take for ourselves. And when we took the mantle as far as the family, that level of continuity built us with stronger roots. But now we got people who are 5th generation welfare recipients. It's more beneficial to feed the the school to prison pipeline, organ harvesting, sex trafficking. The Klansmen nowadays, they become policemen, become government officials across the board. Some of them, are in your schools, putting a lot of misinformation and dividing the gap between children and parents. And with the advent of social media, people benefit from having ethnic outposts rather than actual communities, because you have things as far as communal gardens, neighborhood watches. So whenever someone infiltrates the neighborhood, they will leave that trash at the end of the neighborhood so the police can deal with it rather than go in your house and basically destroy it from the inside out.
I think you're absolutely right. My whole thing is this: in order for you to determine whether or not there is an agenda, find out who profits from it. You know what I mean? My thing is this: back in the 50s and the 60s, they had a lot of people who were not on Social Security. Those are the baby boomers. So guess what? Now they're getting ready to retire. Now, when they had those people were married. You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden, slowly, you had to have other people into the workforce. Well, guess what? Those people had way more kids back then than we do now. So guess what? Those people are starting to retire. So they're going to need some bodies, some money pouring into the system so that these people who've worked for the system can get what they put into it. You know what I mean? So what happens is when you have more and more people not having children and replacing them, you kind of need more bodies. So what you do, you send more people to work. How do you do that? You separate the family, You tell the woman, hey, you deserve a break today. You know what I mean? You should go out there and get you a job too, girl. Get your money, get your bag. And guess what? You got an instant taxpayer ready to fill in to take care of Mr. Joe, who just now retired when he was 75 years old. So now the system continues. So what happens is what's going to happen is you're going to have more and more people, going into the system. And as those people retire, you're going to need more people to pay into the system. Well, guess what? If people are not having as many babies as they were before, then the system is not going to kind of, do what it's supposed to do. It's not going to, last as long. So I've watched these people kick this can down the road for years. That's all they do. Any political cycle you see, they always talk about Medicare, Medicaid, and old people get riled up. Oh, you're not going to touch my Medicare. You're not going to touch this. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole thing. They want to scare the old people. You know what I mean? But my thing is this: how do they benefit from that? So what you do, you put little institutions in place. Now, a while back, I did a live on the elders. You know what I mean? And how they are used to actually balance the emotions of grandchildren sometimes. And if those kids are not around their grandparents most of the time, they're not as balanced as most other kids. There's research on it. You can go back and watch it if you want to. But what happens is if your kids are not around their grandparents and they're raised by social media and they're raised by their homies, you know what I'm saying? It kind of don't make the same thing. Like they say, cake less eggs ain't cake. Well, what we don't have right now, we don't have cake. We don't have marriages no more. We got flapjacks, y'all. We just pour syrup on it. I don't know what this is. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I don't know what it is.
Vegan cakes, okay?
Vegan cakes, whatever it is.
All right. No dairy.
Cap. I don't know what this is we got. You know what I mean? We got kids on this side of town, dad on this side of town, And the thing about it, what people don't realize is that whenever you have a kid or a son or something like that, dads have a tendency to pass on legacy to those kids on how to build stuff, how to do stuff. You know what I mean? Certain stuff you just can't learn. I was watching something on PBS the other day how they was blowing glass and how it takes them years on how to do stuff like that. And you don't see what you start to do, you start to see, the less and less of the arts. You stop seeing people play music. You know what I mean? I don't know if y'all know this, but if you ever go to a high school band, the band's a whole lot smaller than what they used to be. You know what I mean? Because they've taken that out. Athletics, all this other stuff. And it's getting smaller and smaller. The number of schools is shrinking. You know what I mean? That type of thing. So when I look at stuff like that, it's kind of hard to say it's not an agenda. It's not advertised, but it kind of feel it. You know what I mean? That's what it seems like to me. What do you think, Sean?
I just want to say something real quick.
Come on.
I hear what you're saying about that, but I don't, because of where you are, I don't think you see it as prevalent as I do because of where I am. But the solution is immigration. All these immigrants that are flooding the borders and that they are bringing here. That's the solution to the generation and the children that we're not having. That's their solution. And I mean, like, they coming over here by the thousands, and I mean thousands. So the government isn't doing anything like to put any kind of parameters or anything on it. And really it's because they know and they understand that, okay, sending those people back, number one, is going to cost money. And then number two, we could actually use the bodies. We could use the workers. So, hey, let them go and come on over here. And which is why I don't think we realize, and this is a whole other topic for a whole other day, but we're not as special as important as we think we are. We're not so special that, okay, we have to break up this particular community. We have to keep somebody as an underdog. We're not that special anymore. And the reason being is because America has become so diverse and you have so many different ethnic groups. We are pretty much like a non-factor at this point. We're not that special.
I'm gonna push back on that. I didn't want to run down this rabbit hole because it does get deep, but yes, we are, and it shows every day.
Yeah.
Settings.
We are
the trendsetters. We are the people who are influencing a lot of people. We just don't recognize it often. We don't understand our value. We don't understand our worth. And so we just give it away freely. And one thing that I was going to say that triggered something that Ronan said, elders, when they die, it's libraries burned. Is that what you said, Ronan?
Right.
We need to do better. Because quite frankly, the difference between us and others, they document. They don't just share. They document it. And we need to learn how to document a lot better so that those libraries don't burn. They actually have books. That's why we need to actually burn a library or take books out of a place because they documented it. And we need to really put more emphasis on documenting it because to the point that I was making and the pushback that I was giving you, Shushu, is that documentation, if we had it, we would understand the value of it. If we, like your journals that you said that you write, that documentation is valuable to you. And if you shared it with people, to others, because you are doing something that is not often done, but you are also trend setting in ways that many people who you probably grew up with are admiring you about. They're like, wow, Mary, is she over there in New York doing her thing, this, that, and another? And so you are very valuable. You do matter. You don't understand how much you matter to those who are looking up to you and viewing you from the standpoint of understanding your value that we sometimes don't credit ourselves for. We allow people to take the credit for it. We allow people to steal the thunder of it. We give it away You know, they don't even got to steal it anymore. We just give it away because we don't value it. Just like, oh, that don't matter. Here, take that. Take that spinning on your head that we used to do. Yeah, go ahead, do that. Now it's in movies. It's take that old talking slick like my man Lost in Translation is teaching us right now. Take that and put it to a beat. It don't matter. And now we have hip hop that is a multi-billion-dollar industry that we did.
Before you go on that you know, I am Africa, I am black man, black woman. I'm sorry. But I'm gonna tell you why, and this is my pushback. I'm gonna tell you why we're not that significant anymore. The main reason why they're taking Black history out of schools and they're trying to erase it is because, like I said, this country has become so much diverse and so much more diverse, and we don't realize just how diverse it's become. Like, we are no longer like the largest majority. Like like the Hispanics have surpassed us. We're not that significant. Like, and the bottom line is the Black community is so far gone. There is no fixing it. There is no rebuilding, no nothing. And they know that. And therefore, there is no reason to keep pouring energy or worrying about them coming together and them doing all this other stuff, because they know we just too far gone to save.
Well, you have valid points.
And then on top of that, yes, we are trendsetters and all this other stuff. But I don't think y'all realize, pay attention to entertainment and how they're investing money in other cultures. You got K-pop out there, one of the biggest bands out here, like that Korean group. I had never heard of them, but like all the kids know about them. Everybody who has kids know about them. They buying tickets and all this other stuff like to see them. It's crazy. I don't think y'all realize, like, we're fading into the background because we're not significant anymore.
And I hear you, and you made some valid points, but no, it's not that we're not significant. We're not structured. That's where we fail. We don't have structure. We don't have a way to, as I said, document, because K-pop is just a mere reflection of our pop. So it's not that they are super, and it's not that this country has always been diverse, always. Yet we still was able to excel and trendset, even though we didn't understand. Again, I'm in hip hop. I didn't know that it was a business. I just was doing it for fun. I didn't know how valuable that could be because I didn't understand that. So our structure is what we're missing, and we will continue to miss it, to your point, as long as we can't trust one another. And that's what we don't do. We don't trust one another. We don't give each other credit, similar to how we're discussing right now. We don't trust enough to give the credit of where it's due. We will idolize a K-pop. We will idolize the Spanish community, not even realizing they come from us. All of them. So we don't value ourselves. So therefore, your point is valid. That's why I said you made some points. But the root of the points is because we don't value or have structure to understand the value of what it is we contribute and what it is and who it is that we are.
I agree with that. And we've accepted that program and propaganda. That's why I said, like, when the elders like pass away, a library burns down, nothing's passed down. Our rites of passage have been warped. Like, when you have, when it comes to masculinity, especially, it's about evolution. It goes from a young boy, a baby, young boy, to a young man, an adult, and then actually earns the part of being an elder. So you pass something down. Same thing with the women. You're seeing it on both sides where they're not being taught anything significant. They're taught to be selfish, being rugged individuals rather than family. We don't know how to treat each other nor ourselves. So why do you think you made solid points, but it's like, there's a concerted effort to keep us thinking that we're not worth a damn. When really you look at history, America wouldn't be what it is, or even the world be what it is, if we didn't have a bit of our influence in it. I mean, it goes back. That's why I want to basically dismiss our contributions. We're relegated to just slavery. We've been way past that. But again, it's a level of mindset. You destroy the mind and then you destroy generations. That's my personal opinion.
You know what my thing is whatever we water is what we grow. And we like to think of that, whatever we've had in the past is just that. We got women, Black women, who are coming up with fantastic medical technology. There's a sister who has come up with a way how to eradicate cancer using sound waves.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And light. That's today. You know what I mean? So that to me is valuable. We're making moves today. It's not like back in the day, that's all we did, that's all it was. But I think that we probably need to get back to instilling in our kids that you're more than just hip hop, you're more than just sports, you're more than just music, you're engineers, you're lawyers, you're doctors, you're fabricators, you're farmers, you know, you're all these things, you know what I mean? And the reason why those things don't get the glory and the glamour is because that's what's not advertised. You know what I mean? If you think about it, if you go back farther enough in your family, I promise you there's some farmers there. And I promise you there's some guys who built cars. I'm pretty sure there's somebody who's grown orchards and stuff like that. You know what I mean? If you go back farther enough. But my thing is this: we don't water the things that we want to grow. I remember coming up as a kid, I wanted to be an inventor. You know, I was always come up with stuff, you know. I wanted to make in high school, I made a hydroelectric dam from scratch. Nobody showed me how to do that. My teacher said, here's the science room. Here's the stuff that you need to do it, go to it. And I built it from scratch. You know what I'm saying? And I won 3 science fairs in a row. And my senior year, I didn't win. I lost that one to my homeboy, who's a doctor today, but I let him slide. It took a doctor to beat me, so you know what I'm saying? He did a pretty good science project. He did a biosphere, which took him a year to do, so I had to give him his props for that one. But my thing is this: those are some of the things that we have to make sure that we water in our kids, to let them know you're more than just this other stuff. And to tell them that they're not worth anything, that's really shutting off the future. You know what I mean? We kind of want to give them the things that they need to be better people. You know what I mean? To let whatever's inside of them flourish. So I agree with Sean on that one, man. Whatever you water is going to grow. Black Deck, did y'all want to add anything to that, Rona?
No, so to your point, it's like, but to your point, I call it intellectual terrorism. Having them believe that they're something that they're not, like they're insignificant, that they're worthless, and they're going to carry themselves as such. So if you start showing the better parts of themselves, you start seeing making it cool to be chemists, architects, take over STEM, things of that nature. But many people would not benefit from it. They could, but that would spread like wildfire, and certain industries would suffer.
I'm gonna tell you something. Part of that problem is, which is why I'm saying too, which is back to my point, we're not as significant as we think we are. At least not for the agenda anymore.
Not special.
Is the reason why I say that is because, like, for instance, like I said, our community is so far gone, yes, I would love to say, yeah, we need structure and but our people are so far gone. Like, we have some people in our community who are willing to come together and willing to do what it takes to make it happen. But it's more of us that aren't willing to get involved. And then, and even with that, you have just a certain amount of our community that is just mentally like gone, like obliterated, and there is no hope for them. And that is the honest truth. And we need to get honest about that. There is no saving them. And like, even if, and here's a telltale sign too. As much positive messages as we try and get out of here, you look at what we're talking about now. How many people do we have tuned in watching this? But if we were to be up here going back and forth, calling each other the N-word and acting all belligerent and all indignant and stuff like that, we'll have like views upon views upon views. Everybody wants to tune into that. We bought into that too. That's what I'm saying. They already, the mind control is done. Mission accomplished. There is no more agenda. Agenda for what? Mission accomplished.
Well,
so now let's go on to the next thing, because it's over.
As long as we have that, and shoot, I respectfully will push back on that, because as long as we think from that standpoint, that means we have no faith. We have no.
Sean, it's over, honey.
As a leader, as a man, I'm sharing to you, my sister. Keep hope alive, because you that will destroy us internally, because you have always been the pillars of us, of our hope. And if you're not exercising that hope, you're right, we are defeated. So I have to challenge you on that, because
Sean, I'm gonna I hate to keep cutting you up. I'm gonna give you another example. Prime example. I'm talking about like just in our thinking, and we don't even realize it. You're looking at dating scene. Most of your men who are black men, who are articulate, who carry themselves well, suit and tie, most women don't. Most of our women don't go for that. The first thing they say is, "Oh, he whitewashed. Oh, he must like white women." Like I've had black men. My brother, one of them, and not just him. Quite a few black men to actually have black women say this to them. I mean, it's already in our program. It's too late, Sean.
you got to realize, being part of the programming, I can't accept that. Because the same way that I've programmed and I'm sharing with you, I get it. I understand it. Divide and conquer is the funniest thing, because it's really in our face. That is the remedy to it all. And we just accept it and continue to divide. And this is part of that division, is what I'm trying to share with you. As long as you say that, you're dividing. And I'm like, even if you feel it, don't say it, because it will plant the seed into those who are thinking and who are in that. That's almost a state of scarcity, a state of fear. And we're here to give you the confidence to be able to build that confidence when you are afraid. That's what us men are supposed to be here to do. So I understand what you're saying, and it's very commonplace. I'm not disputing that. And you're right, it is at its grim, bare places. But I can't, a lot of things that I have conquered have been at its grim, bare places, and we have overcome. And we have to be reminded of that time and time again to be able to overcome at some point. And so I'm not, it is an uphill battle. But by all means, that's what we're built for. We're built to battle, and we have always battled. And respectfully, y'all haven't always had to. Y'all have filled in sometimes to battle with us or battle for us when we were absent, but we will die for this. So you might not understand when we passionately speak from this place, but you will definitely get the results and the residuals of those fights if we could come together and continue that fight.
I got you.
All right. Black David, we got a super chat. I want you to put that up on the screen, sir, if you don't mind. All right. This is from Marcus Evans, $5 super chat. Hello, everyone. To my sister Shushu. It's not over for our people yet. At least try to keep hope alive for us. Thank you so much, Marcus. Appreciate it, sir.
I promise you, Shushu, I did not call him and tell him to say that.
No. Well, I will say this. Yes, there's a part of me that wants to say yes, one day we will. But every time I see a march or a protest, I think, okay, now what? Now what? People went crazy over the river brawl in Montgomery. And I was like, yeah, great. Now what? Now what? And you know what happens? It always goes back to business as usual.
You're right. And my answer to your now what is, we need to get you somebody who's consistently going to be there to remind you. Don't worry, baby. We got you. We got it. We're going to keep this fight up. And because we understand that it is a now what, and it's a consistent, and it will be a consistent battle. This country was built to destroy us, as we were just sharing indirectly. It wasn't built for us. So we have to understand that. And even though we get our little selfish and ambitious accolades, it doesn't help matters any, because it almost divides us even further. Because I'm fighting out there, then I'm coming home to you, and I'm like, baby, and you like, give up on it. Don't worry about it. and that's, you know, and I know that's not what you're saying directly, but that's how that's what we're actually up against.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, we're depleted and defeated out there, but we got to come home. And sometimes you just got to be that encouragement to us so that we can be that security for you.
You know, just thought about too, Shushu. For somebody who looks at your brother and say he's a square, he's not good enough for me, you wouldn't want that as a sister-in-law anyway. Right. You know what I mean? You want to be surrounded by winners. And when people say stuff like that, they're just weeding themselves out. So that all the winners find each other and y'all build. You know what I'm saying? That's how you do that. You start with your own small portion of the corner.
I just think that mentality is just all wrong. Like, it's jacked up. It's really jacked up to have, and it's just so sad. So many Black women have that. Like, it's I gotta fuck a few of my guilty pleasure shows, and Ready to Love is one of them. Okay, yes, I watch it. And
what was
even
it?
on this,
What did you say? What was it?
It's Ready to Love. That's one of them. And even it's
I'm familiar.
Yeah, okay. So for y'all who aren't familiar with it, it's a dating show hosted by Tommy Miles of Steve Harvey Morning Show, and so they get these couples, Black couples, and Black singles, and try and match them up, and it even that point came up on the show. Like, one of the women were like, "Oh, he just." I don't know. He just seems like he date white women. You know what? And she told me, like, have you ever dated white girls? Because you just, I get that. I was just like, that is such an ignorant mentality to have. And then, like, even when I can't stand it when our people, and that's what I'm saying, our people think that to speak articulately or to use, like, or to present yourself with some kind of dignity and some kind of intelligence, you think you act. They call that acting white, as if like the only way to present Black is to talk like that. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like, I'm gonna get my coochie scratched. I'm gonna get my coochie scratched. Like that is Black. Thank you, but that is Black to them. I'm just saying, like, that is the mindset a lot of us have, and even for the ones who you would expect to be educated, who are educated, and you would think on a so much higher intellectual level, have that ingrained in them, and it just baffles me all the time. It is just beyond me. It's saying we got a lot of work. Yeah. You talk about uphill battle, honey. This is a mountain, and I'm talking about Mount Everest.
I agree. I agree. And the funny thing is, that's what we started with. If you think about it, the first video that we played is exactly speaking to what you're speaking of. Because guess what? Those are the avenues that are provided to be able to highlight and showcase us. They're not showcasing what we're speaking about right now. So, understanding that, give them what they want so that they can listen to what they need. Strategy. It's not that difficult, but it does take intention, and it does take consistency and unity. That's what we don't have, those elements, but it's not impossible to get.
I've asked people before, who would you be without your negative narrative? And most people don't have the answers to it, which is why you see a lot of people gravitate towards the gender wars, because it's a whole bunch of silliness. I can play accountability dodgeball rather than look at myself, fix myself, and move in some uncharted territory, like actually be respectable, have a sense of honor, dignity. When you mention the whole thing about people shaming you because you actually can enunciate things, and you can read without having to use your fingers and sweating, you start looking different. But that's the thing about generational low self-esteem, among other things. But when you make it cool to be your authentic self, that is a danger to certain people who benefit from you being broken.
Remember, there's a low barrier entry for stupidity and ratchetness. You know what I'm saying? It don't take much to do that. So
it don't.
keep that in mind. Black David, anybody else have anything on this next topic before we move on? Anything else? Black David, roll that beautiful bean footage. What we got?
My people, y'all belong to me and I belong to y'all. Good and bad. Before I get started, just let me say, I'm fine. Marjorie's fine. I don't know what y'all doing. Find something else to do. Because we fine. Lord have mercy. Man. I sure wish I could cuss though. You know, sometimes you just want to respond, but I ain't got no time for moving y'all, so man, y'all been good to me. I'm still shining, fine.
My.
Cap.
The question number 5 is Steve Harvey's legacy is now tainted. Is he qualified to give relationship advice? Rona, we're going to start with you this time, sir.
Hell no. I will bet my hairline on that. Hell no. He wasn't qualified to give advice a long time ago. Your choice of women are terrible. And even when you had somebody that's solid, you dump them, for a trap house queen. Show business. And the thing is, like, just with your reputation away from, the marriage part, how you carry yourself around people and start backstabbing, no, you were never qualified for that. And it's amazing how karma turns around and kicks you in the nuts. So I'm going to sit back and enjoy this.
Come on, Sean.
Allegedly, karma came back on.
Oh, okay. And matter of fact, how is it that your bodyguard and your chef hooked y'all up? So in my opinion, I think you got set up for it to be a long-term lick, but that's my personal opinion.
And Stephen wanted to call him an all-day sucker. Long-term lick. Is that what that is?
Oh, yeah. Long-term lick.
Allegedly. Come on, Sean. We got to throw that allegedly out there,
What was Steve Harvey? What was the question?
The question is Steve Harvey's legacy is now tainted. Is he qualified to give relationship advice?
His legacy is not tainted. And he
Cap.
Yeah, his legacy is not tainted. But
Cap.
Black David on you, man.
Now the reason why I say that, Black David, I need you to hear me out. Because he's a hardworking man. And, I never admired him as far as relationship advice. So to the second question, he's never been qualified to give relationship advice. He's chosen to lie his way through a lot of things, and he even advocated to do so. So that's not something that I, sit there and give highlights to or give accolades to, but his hard work ethic is what has gotten him that legacy. It's not his character. And so I commend him on his hard work ethics. He get up at 4:30 in the morning. He does about 5 different shows. He got more jobs than the average Jamaican, so to speak. And so I'm not mad at his hard work is what gets him. His hard work is what gets him those accolades and what will have his legacy continue. But as far as his ethic and character, I never agreed with that. Think like a man, act like a woman. I mean, that was the stupidest thing you could have told our community. And so I never had respect for that. Think like a man who sits there and lies to you. That's what you want them to think like? Just go ahead and be a liar. Just go ahead and lie your way through. And take that lie to the grave. That's Steve Harvey's, persona. And again, I say it that way because I want to separate that I admire his work ethic. I all but admire his work ethic, but his character, from what I heard him speaking, I don't know the man, but his character, no, I never admired. No, he can't give a relationship advice. Here's a man that's been divorced several times. What relationship advice he's giving us? How to get divorced? How to chase? How to woo a woman with your money? from all of that hard work. That's what you can give advice on, and that's not hard. All you got to do is, as he said, give them the money, give them whatever they want. Yo, what do you need to do? Yeah, go ahead and simp with them. Absolutely. You got the money to simp, you got the money to trick, you got the money to do all that. It's easy to get whatever kind of relationship you want to design. But is that relationship built on a foundation that will sustain the test of time? No, and you've proven it time and time again. There's always had money in these relationships, except his earlier ones, and he's never had a successful one yet. Marjorie and him have been, in there for some while, and God bless them. I hope they could continue. But he got the right one. He got somebody who's looking for money, who's understands and values that money, and he go ahead and makes it. So yeah, that relationship will stand as long as she values that. What's probably happening is she's not valuing the money as much. She's getting older. She's starting to understand character is something that she values a little bit more than money. So that's my take on it.
Shoot, what you got for us, darling?
I don't think his legacy is tainted. And no, that ain't cap admin. So I will say this. Is it possible to give good advice without going to bed as his? And you know what? Thank you, Sir Hale. I want to speak to that too in my response. I wouldn't say that I wouldn't mark him, Steve Harvey, having like 2 divorces under his belt, as a reason to not listen to him, because it's more of, what did you learn from your marriages? What did you learn from your divorces? What have you learned from your past relationships? What have you learned from your past experiences? And I mean, you can find, there's always value in that. But like Sean was saying, he has given some bad advice too, because he will sit up here and tell men like, oh, that you supposed to lie. You supposed to nah, dog. I can't even co-sign with you on that, dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you were supposed to take that lie to your grave. You know what I mean? But like, you telling women they supposed to act this certain way only for men to sit up here and lie to them. You know what I mean? And if we're just being honest, let's just be honest. Marjorie is the most attractive woman Steve has ever had. Let's just be real. Come on. Like, his ex-wives were attractive women. I'm not going to take that away from them. But let's just be real. Marjorie does, from an attractive perspective, she is higher on the scale. And she's probably the best looking woman that has ever given him the time of day, money and all. So let's just be real with it. Like, even if it were really true, which we allegedly, because we
allegedly,
okay. He ain't sending her nowhere. I mean, let's just be real. Number one, she's the best looking woman who's ever given him the time of day. And then on top of that, let's just be real. You know how much money he gonna have to give in a divorce from her? I mean, she was with street dudes, so she know how to hustle. And he know that. Please. Even if she said she wanted a divorce, hold on, baby, let's talk about this. Wait a minute. He ain't just gonna let her go. You know what I mean? So that statement that he made, let's just be real. There was a statement given to him by his PR team. Like, don't speak on it. And he probably like, well, can I at least say something? They probably told him, yeah, you can say a little something, but like, don't go into detail, don't give any other thing to give them, to run off with. But just keep it simple. So, but long story short, I don't think it necessarily taints his legacy.
Cap.
Ronan got a whole house full of cap.
It's on you. It's on you,
Come on,
Ronan.
I mean, he's still gonna give relationship advice.
Don't know why. She's a lovely liability.
No. That's a part of his brand. You know what I'm saying? It's also attached to his brand. That's why. So he gonna keep talking about relationships.
What, lying? Okay. I mean, that's a brand.
Yeah, lying is his brand. Sitting there, relationship advice is his brand. Family Feud and Steve Harvey the comedian. He is the epitome of a hard worker, hustler, whatever you want to call it. I can't knock him for that. So to Sahel's question, I say, can you? Is it possible to give good advice without going through, like, yes, it is possible, and yes, it is possible to give bad advice without going through it. It's possible to give good advice, but his advice is make money and you can get whoever you want and hold them down that way. And that's what he's been advising us to do, and that's what he's doing, and that's what he's done. Make your money lead you. Get the money to be able to control them, secure them, whatever you want to call it. That's been his advice.
What do you think, Lit?
Tell me, Lit.
Here's my whole thing, man. Steve is giving advice from someone who has lots and lots of money. To the average broke person or the average American, that doesn't work for them. All this 90 days, people don't have 90 days, man, when they're 40 and 50 years old. Just being honest, man. You know what I mean? Them 90 days add up quick. You know what I mean? Think what you can do in 90 days. You know what I mean? Think about it. If you had kids in 90 days, man, it's almost Christmas. It's almost Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? It's almost a birthday. 90 days is a long time, y'all. You know what I mean? Some of us on the other side of the sunset. You know what I mean? So my thing is this.
The sunset.
The other side of the sunset, man. You know what I mean? My whole thing is this. You have to be careful who you get your relationship advice from. And then sometimes you got to ask yourself, does what he say make sense? You know, we can't always put the responsibility for other folks to think for us, you know, on somebody else. You know what I mean? I never really liked the whole 90-day thing because he never spoke to getting into knowing the person. It was all about finessing somebody out of dinners and wasting their time. You know, if she's dating 3 and 4 other folks, how many folks is that wasting money, man? How's that helping the community, man?
I think what people miss with the 90 days is like, because he gave an example. He was like, you know, when you're on a job, typically there's a 90-day waiting period before your benefits kick in because they have to see what kind of employee you're going to be, and they have to see if you're going to last at least 90 days if you're at least serious about the job.
But
that's a low-end job.
But I think
they don't not pay you for those first 90 days.
Well, no. Well, the point. I mean, how is the point for him saying that? Like the association is, you have to give yourself enough time to see what this person wants from you. If they really want a relationship or if they just want sex, and within that time period, they'll be able to. They will have shown themselves what it is that they want.
But that's cap.
Can I let you in a little secret? Cap.
Take a day or even a whole year. I still got the ussy, so I really don't care. That's the mentality. And if you're sitting there, if you think otherwise, he's giving you bad advice. You're going to fall victim to his bad advice. If somebody's intention is to just get in your panties, that's their intention, whether it takes 90 days, whether it takes 1 day, whether it takes 90 years.
Oh my God! Wow!
You're right, but the point is to at least give yourself enough time to see what it is that he wants.
Cap.
I mean, it doesn't take 90 days. Like you can tell by the that's a whole other thing. I was gonna say you can tell by the conversation what it is from you. But a lot of women get so caught up in, oh, he's so fine and
cap
stuff, and they get caught up in the words, all this stuff that he's like all the sweet nothings that he's telling them. But they're not paying attention to, okay, he's ghosting me. Like I haven't heard from him in a week. And I don't know what's going on, but next thing you know, he's
wasting his time.
He's doing this, he's doing that. Like, you know, so it's really supposed to, it's the point of the 90 days is to give yourself enough time, like to not just go right into having sex with him, but to first see what it is that he wants.
If I had a book, it'll be one page. It'll be all men like sex. The end.
Yeah,
I'm gonna free all the women.
Let's be real.
I'm gonna free all the women to think that a guy who likes you is not gonna ask for sex.
No.
They all come for sex.
We get that. We get that. But like, you have some men who are approaching you strictly for sex. Like, that's it. Like, that's all they want from you. They don't want a relationship. They don't want anything serious. They're not looking for anything serious. But if you know that you are looking for something serious, then you know who he is and what he wants from you, like, will reveal itself, and it ain't gonna take long.
Why don't you just ask him?
Well, Shushu,
just ask him. Are you here for something serious? Are you here for a good time? It depends on what package you decide you want to, Come on.
And I got some advice for you, because Lost in Translation said it earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
We can finesse you. You think we can't. For whatever reason, I don't know why, y'all feel like y'all got it. We know, or as soon as you giving us conversation, we already in your panties as far as we're concerned. Period. We understand that. We understand you gave us a doorway. Now it's up to us to fumble it or carry it in. That's it. Y'all think y'all in control. No, we got the ball at that point. Once you start engaging, and now we're trying to see, I don't want to get tackled and I don't want to fumble. So I understand that a lot of times you like to think otherwise, but I always tell my lady friends, once you gave him access to your mind, access to your conversation, he got you. Sex is already had. Y'all know it like we know it. As soon as you give that look of he can get it, we see it.
Mm-hmm.
You could take 90 days. You could sit there. I'm not gonna do this because I'm so. You could say, "Oh,
we do not care."
You can say whatever you want. We're already prepared for it if we want it that bad. Sometimes it's like, that's gonna be a headache. It's gonna be a lot more attached to that, and we'll give it up. We'll drop the ball. Like, you know what? Yeah, somebody else pick it up. Fumble, deliberately. Go score, please. Or we'll go ahead and run it in, and hopefully the game ain't over for y'all.
Here's my thing. I'm gonna help you out. Shushu, here's my thing. When women say that I'm gonna make him wait for 90 days, that your clock starts at 90 days for him. He's probably on day 15 with somebody else. You know what I mean?
Right.
And whoever gets to the clock the fastest, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. What women fail to do is they fail to stand out, and they expect the man to put in all the effort. You know what I mean? It's like, do you call him to see how he's doing? Do you ask to meet him at the park or bring lunches or sandwiches or whatever, or you bring him ice cream or whatever, you know what I mean? Sometimes that thing has to be reciprocal. And if all the women are expecting men to do all the work, then all of a sudden you stand out by doing something extra. Who you think he's going to look at? He's looking for the person who's going to reciprocate. Everybody else is just going to fall by the wayside. And you know what's going to happen? The women who didn't get picked, they're going to be the ones telling the story of why he ghosted him. I can't understand why he ghosted me. I'm going to tell you, because you didn't do your part.
You were lazy.
You were basically lazy. Like Roland said, you were lazy.
Well, you know what? I will say this.
Save them, Shushu.
Really, when it comes to it all boils down to whether a person really genuinely likes you.
Cap.
And the reason why I say that is because women, even if a woman says, "Oh, we're gonna do 90 days," if she really, really genuinely likes you,
Cap.
You ain't waiting on 90 days.
We know.
You know what I mean?
We know.
Even if a guy, and the same thing works for the dudes. You can have a woman who is absolutely lovely. She is showing herself and putting in effort. But if it's this chick over here who making him chase her, You know what I'm saying? She's being a little bit, pushed back a little bit, but it's something about her that he just really likes. And guess what? Good girl over here that's putting in extra effort gonna get blown by the wayside, whereas he gonna keep pursuing this chick right here that he really likes and really would to us if they genuinely like you.
What he really likes, it's not about what he really likes is the competition and the competitiveness in that scenario you just described. It's real simple. It ain't about the woman. It's about he to conquer. And if you don't understand that, that's why again sometimes it's failed. Because you don't understand that some men just like conquering. And that's the thing for them. So you thinking that they like you and all of that. No, they just conquered you. And that's all they wanted. Now there are other men who don't want that. So it really boils down to understanding the intention of the person. Women or man, it doesn't matter. Understanding their intention. And if your intentions meet, you can have something miraculous. But if your intentions are different, regardless on whatever your methods are, it will fail. Because if you like him too much, go ahead, bro.
Well, to support your point, I mean, this is what Steve Harvey wasn't telling. Some women can wait 90 days because they need that infection to clear, or they need that box to heal up. Some dudes will wait 90 days, but in the meantime, someone else is getting that 90 minutes, 90 seconds. In that meantime, while you're waiting, he just putting you on layaway. He like you, but if he sees that you're lazy and you're not putting forth no effort, the one who's doing it a little bit more, she might have made him a sandwich or something like that, or even said something to him. You wonder why he chose her. So that whole Tom and Jerry thing, that worked back then, but now they're giving out that box like free lunches. What's the point?
And not only that, think about this for a minute.
Get you.
Yeah, think about this for a minute. What have you done to allow him to get to know you?
That's the point of not having sex off the rip.
Okay.
Waiting a while.
But what it doesn't
necessarily have to be 90 days.
During those first at least 89 days, what are we doing? What are we talking about? What are we doing those first 89 days? What are we talking about? What kind of discussions are we having here?
Me, and more me.
Conversation. Those are the kind of conversations you're supposed to be having. Like when you get together, like actually like getting to know one another. And it doesn't necessarily have to be out to eat or to the movies. Like, it could be like, I don't know, do like a game night or something, like just something out of the box, or like an activity where y'all can actually get to know one another, work together. You know what I mean? So it's just you're actually like actively trying to like get to know this person, what they like, what they don't like, what they want, what they don't want, like, what their future plans are, what their future goals are. A lot of times, and this is why I'm saying it don't take 90 days. A lot of times for most women, if you realize it, even just listen to the conversation. Like, don't get so caught up in, oh, he's so fine, and where this could be and where this could go. Because a lot of times women do that. We get it caught up in, we see the whole future with this man. Like,
ma'am.
I'm telling you. And whereas when you just listen to the conversation, like if a guy don't ask you anything about like, what your interests are, like what your future goals are, what your plans are, what you really like to do, where you really like to go, like actual deeper questions other than, okay, so you come here often? Okay. So, okay.
That's a catch-22. Go ahead, Ronnie.
What you like to do?
Fellas, honest
well, you do have to have your due diligence. You have to bring your questions too. Well, he can't have just questions for you. You got to bring something for him too. That's how I
gotta ask you guys a question. How in depth do these conversations go in these 90 days with a lot of these women?
I don't know. I don't date women.
I'm asking the fellas.
It's interesting. I was gonna say I'm not opposed to 90 days. Because it really depends on what your intentions are. And if your 90 days And it's not 90 days for the woman. It's actually 90 days for the man, because that's who really should be putting in the 90 days. Because if he really wants you, he don't mind waiting to get the box. Because again, we already knew we had the box by having a conversation. We already know by sitting there on the phone with us for hours, sitting there
Cupcake.
all googly eyed. Yeah. So we already knew all of that. Now the point is, the 90 days will actually help us both define lust versus life.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people don't invest in. They don't invest in separating lust from life. Do you want this as a lustful thing, or do you want this for life? And so we fail. We fail miserably. And 90 days, 1 day, two, it don't matter. I give you this, Shusha, to answer your question, Ronan. You said, what do we find out? I have found out a lot about a lot of people, because I don't put a rule on it, but I have had courting or dating where I don't want to go out with a person. I just want to talk on the phone. I don't even want to see you. And I get pushback from it all the time. Oh, I need to feel your energy and this, that, and another. All right, whatever. I hear you, but if I
Feel
go
your
on what you're
energy over some buffalo wings, that's what that is.
right, right, and I'm like, yo, they go to the point we don't got to spend no money. We could go to a park. I just need to understand. And I'm like, yo, if I went and followed your lead, you would already be in a relationship. Why am I listening to you? I'm not going in the traditional way of what you're asking me to do, because you failed already with all of these guys that you sitting there trying to do this with. So follow my lead a little bit, and let's get to know each other and truly get to know each other, because that's what I truly want. And if that's the case, then 90 days don't matter, because I tell them what I just told y'all. I already feel I got in your panties already. I ain't even that us being on the phone, I got in your panties already. As far that's a conquest already conquered in my mind. So if that's what you're thinking about, let me explain to you. That was conquered. And with every man that you have given this type of intimacy with, as far as conversation, they already conquered that. So if you didn't know, now you know.
Now you know. Come on, Ronan. I see you down there, man. Come on.
I was gonna get your thoughts, but my thing is like it depends on the respective man. Like in that 90 days, I like to engage. I like to see how you carry yourself, not just in private but in public. How you treat people, especially in the service industry, or just how you treat people in general. You know, I like to see patterns, because when you get cocky, you get sloppy. And I like to see where your mindset and your attitude, shows up. Because like, yeah, you can be as beautiful as you're easy on the eyes. But if I'm squinting more than 3 times in a conversation, you're damn near X'd out. Because I like depth in a woman, but if she's functionally retarded, I can't deal with her. So that's my whole thing. It sounds blunt, but I would expect her to sit there and ask some in-depth questions, or even, if we go somewhere as far as like a library or something outing, we don't have to always go be seen. I want to see how you are in private, like really in depth, or what you got going on, what interests you, what motivates you, and stuff like that. So yeah, getting a box is one thing, but if I see something more out of you, I would like to see that for myself and receive and adjust to that to accordingly. But if you're about as deep as a shot glass, we ain't gonna last.
Yeah,
I agree.
Wow.
My whole thing is you got to make sure that you make the best out of your time when you're with somebody. And I tell guys all the time, man, make sure you read. There's some things that we miss because we're so infatuated with people. There's certain things you should be looking for. What is this person's attachment style? What type of love language do they have? How was that developed? What was their relationship with their parents? You know what I mean? That type of thing. All kind of other stuff that makes a difference, you know what I mean, in going forward with somebody. Some things you have to know, hey, do you have any kids? Do you plan on raising kids? If you're going to raise them, how are you going to raise them? Are we going to discipline them, or are we going to be a household? We put them in a corner. You know what I mean? Those type of things. If we do have kids, what school do they want to go to? You know what I mean? What direction do we want to lead them in? How do you want to raise kids? Do you want to let them discover their own personal genius, or is this something that you want to guide them doing? Those are some of the questions that we really, really need to be having, because all this, what your favorite color business is, that's gotten us where we are right now. You know what I mean? Do you like cheddar biscuits with your deep fried shrimps? It's not getting us where we need to be. You know what I'm saying? So that's my whole thing. Shushu, did you have anything you want to add? Because I see you over there just giggling yourself to death. I know you got something to add. Come on.
No, get my caps ready.
Do you like what cheddar bay biscuits with your shrimp?
Right.
Hey.
Yo.
There's a lot of things, man.
I don't know. Yeah. I just think you just gotta know. Number one, it takes knowing what you want, and then number two, like I've heard it before though, like because it was this guy I was dating before. He was asking me. He was like, "Why do women do that? Like, what they say they gotta make a man wait like 90 days." He was like, "What is up with that?" And I was explaining to him. I was like, the whole purpose of the 90 days is like, just to give yourself enough chance to get to know a guy to see if he likes you or not. And he was like, well, he's like, just to be honest with you, he was like, whether it be day 1 or day 91, if he likes you, he's still gonna be there. He was like, but if he don't like you, then like on day 91, he out. So he was like, it don't matter. But I would say this, I don't know. It just takes knowing what you want, really. You know what I mean? And if you're gonna sleep with a dude, just know that, hey, that it's what you want. So if he is a charlatan, hey, at least it was a good time.
Hopefully.
Right, at least you hope it was. You want to be out here like this was
my question comes to you, and I ask all my sisters this question: Is that worth it?
Is what worth it?
Is that good time worth it?
You hope it is.
No, I'm asking.
Hopefully.
Is it worth? All right, you had a good time. Now you have it's kind of like having a meal that you can't really get again, or you can't really always make. Or is it worth having it and thirsting for it afterwards, or is it worth just saying, you know what, I'll pass on that meal until I can get something that I can have consistently?
Yeah. I mean, that's a hard question.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. It just depends. If it's been a while.
Big cap.
Oh, hey.
Big cap.
I'm going to take this risk. If he calls me tomorrow, great. If he doesn't, oh well, the search continues. Just saying.
See, that's funny you say that, because I keep 5 girlfriends on my list always, just to avoid that.
What?
Always. Pinky, Indy.
Oh Lord. Five knuckle shuffle. Here we go again.
Sir.
Right, sir.
Hilarious. We're gonna end this show tonight on that note.
Oh man.
We're gonna do final thoughts. Ronan, we're gonna start with you. Then we're gonna do Sean, and then we're gonna end with the lovely Shushu.
Oh yeah. Damn, where do I begin? I
Pick a
say,
spot.
I think I'm gonna end with Sir Hale's question. Can you give advice with bad experiences? I say the main 2 components that most people miss out on is credibility and relatability. And the thing is, like, if you can use yourself as an example, that shows a level of transparency, shows a level of growth. Relatability, that opens the door to you meeting people at their level. So instead of talking outside their pay grade, you're sitting right there in the living room in the trenches, speaking to their situation. That way you can guide them out. And I just aspire to see people be honest with themselves. Ask yourself something like, would I date me? Or what's my communication style and how's it helped? That's what we gotten away from a lot of times. We just like to talk at people rather than grow with people. So, but hey, We just gotta be better.
Thank you, Ronan. Come on, Sean. What you got for us?
Oh man, I don't know whether to take it humorous way or whether to take it serious. I guess I'll do it serious.
Both.
Both. Let me see if I can do both. Oh man, no, seriously. Let me start there. I think that if we're talking about relationships, which is something that comes up often in our conversations, we have to really take more time in healing in between relationships. You know, a lot of us don't like to embrace that we were hurt. A lot of us don't even recognize that we were hurt. Our ego or our pride will make that you know will disguise that very easily and very quickly. And so then we'll get into something and not even realize that we're jeopardizing the sustainability of that relationship because we didn't take time to heal in between. So that's why when we was talking about the 90 days, I said I can understand it. But he was just using other it's chew the meat, spit out the bones. He just had a lot of bones. And he has a lot of bones in his in a lot of his fodder. So it's hard to spit out Steve Harvey bones. You know what I mean? It's like every bite got like 5 bones in it. You're like, how you choking all that on these bones that Steve Harvey wants you to do. But he does have some meat sometimes. He does have some meat. Get some money, and you can probably dictate whatever it is you want. Go ahead and wait 90 days, lady, because he might show you that he didn't just want to get in your panties. Lie to people. That's what he tells us. There's a lot of bones in Steve Harvey. But if we can identify the meat in the Steve Harvey, then we should be able to identify the meat in some of the people we meet personally. And go ahead, Ronan. I see your hand up. Go ahead, bro.
I don't think I want to answer that question. No. Go ahead. You got it.
Oh man.
My mind was somewhere else. Go ahead.
Oh man. So you know, and be honest with what you want. Honesty is something that I advocate always in everything, in business, in life, and relationships, because that's where you will get true results and true happiness. Be honest with I tell people all the time, if I just want sex, I'm gonna let you know that. Because guess what? I don't want the rest of the headaches that come along with the relationship. I don't want the rest of the responsibility. I don't want that authority. I don't want none of that if that's all I want is sex. Or that's what I want. And hopefully you can agree. And guess what? I have been successful at it in my life to where I wanted sex. I expressed it that way, was honest about it, and I got it. No harm, no foul. We enjoyed each other. I also got turned down several times when I just wanted sex. And they were like, nah, I want more. Okay, I can understand that. We have a mutual understanding, friends to this day. But it was because of the foundation of honesty. So my core of that all is just be honest. Be honest with others. So be honest with yourself so you can be honest with others, as the real Precious will always say. And I second that. Be honest. Just be honest. Just be honest. That's it.
Thank you, Sean. Shoo, what you got for us, darling?
Okay, so I agree with Sean. Yes, be honest. You know, you don't have to lie in order to get vagina, especially now in this era. You'd be surprised at how many women would be cool with it. Like, all right. So it saved you a lot of headache in the long run. As far as like with Steve Harvey, I don't think his legacy is tainted. You know, because he is a brand. Bottom line, he is a brand. Yes, he's an entertainer, but he is also a brand. And people really don't understand like how much more of this is business than it is actual like entertainment, like performing. And he is a brand. So therefore, you know, a lot of the advice he's given, yeah, he's advised, you know, he's given some good advice. He's also given some bad advice. You know what I mean? But I agree with Sean again, you know, just chew the meat and spit out the bone. But at the same time, like when it comes to relationship advice, you do be careful of who you take the advice from. And you know, we can't count people out just because like they've made some bad decisions or had some jacked up relationships or relationships that don't work. I mean, we got to understand we're all flawed individuals. And if you're going to go by that theory in itself, then don't take advice from anybody, not even your damn self, because we are all flawed individuals. We've all messed up. We've all jacked up some relationships or jacked up in relationships. So therefore, like, you know, who are you going to take advice from if you look at it, if you judge it by that? You know what I mean? But I think the most important thing is, what have you learned? When you looking for advice for someone, and I think that's the biggest takeaway. Like, so even when you do have these relationship charlatans out here, like, just listen for the lessons that they've learned. That's what you're listening for, because those are the nuggets. That's the meat. Okay, everything else is bones. Bit of that. even from your own relationship experiences, ask yourself and really reflect on, what have I learned? Because people don't ask themselves that enough, and people don't really take the time to really figure out what they've learned, which is why they don't learn anything. So that's, long story short, those are my final thoughts. Really reflect on what you've learned in your relationships and ask yourself what you could have done better.
Thank you, Shushu.
Wow. Thank you, Shushu.
Thank you. My final thoughts is that my thing is this: make sure that you understand what you're getting yourself into. You know what I mean? There's so many voices out there, and you trying to figure out exactly, you know, who to listen to. I would say listen to yourself first. You know what I mean? If it doesn't sound good, if it doesn't resonate, it doesn't sit with you, then it ain't for you. You know, real talk. And you have to realize everybody ain't for you. You know, you don't have to worry about, you know, having everybody to like you. Everybody's not for you, and you wouldn't want to be with everybody anyway. I had to learn that lesson the hard way. But my thing is this: make sure that when you do get lessons, you know, make sure, like Shushu said, you get the part that resonates with you. And you also have to realize too, man, regardless of who says what, those people already made up in their mind they weren't gonna like you anyway. You know what I mean? Shout out to Coach Prime. You know what I mean? Them people weren't gonna like him anyway. But you know, you got to keep doing what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Colorado, Coach Prime, for doing that thing this weekend. But my thing is this, man: keep doing what you're doing. You know. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap everything up. Ronan, could you tell the people where they can find you, man? I'm going to make sure you get your shout outs out the way.
You can find me on YouTube, The Book of Ronan on YouTube, and you can find me on Instagram at Ronan_redacted. Or if I have opposition, you find me at your sister's house.
Sean, could you tell us where you're going to be? And please don't say, is that Ronan's sister house?
Nah. I don't like his sister.
Hilarious.
Now, all my handles are at Sean Bolden, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, SeanBouldin, and that's where you can find me. Thank you for having me. Enjoyed all of you, Ronan, Shushu, Lost in Translation. Enjoyed y'all, and look forward to doing it perhaps in the future again.
Thank you, Sean. Shushu, where can we find you, darling? Tell the people they can find you.
You can find me on YouTube. I have my own YouTube channel. It's Shumeria. That's SHUMERRIA. That's also my handle for all my social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Is just at Shumeria, SHUMERRIA. I wanted to address a comment to so Nikki in the comment was asking, was I Haitian? No, I'm not Haitian. I'm African American. I'm actually from Alabama. I was born and raised here. But I do get that a lot. The people ask, am I West Indian, of West Indian descent? I'm not. I'm American. But thank you for that. And shout out to Sir Hale. Thank you, Sir Hale, for inviting me on your platform once again. I appreciate you as always. Lost in Translation, Sean and Ronan. This has been a wonderful conversation. I have really enjoyed myself being up here with y'all. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, everyone watching, everyone in the chat, everybody watching the playback right now. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe to the page if you have not. And share the video if you can. And that's it. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you, Shushu. You can also find me, guys, at Lost in Translation Podcast here on YouTube and on Instagram as well. Sir Hale, I'm going to thank you once again for allowing me to host the show this evening. Thank you, Shushu, Ronan, and Sean for coming out. Also want to thank the chat. Y'all were amazing tonight. Thank you guys for hitting the like button. Those on the playback, I would appreciate y'all listening. If you get an opportunity, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe. And remember to always be the best version of yourself you can be each and every day. Thank you so much for coming out, and thanks for coming to Sir Hale Super Sunday. Good evening.
May I have your attention? May I please have your attention? Super Sundays. Yeah, baby. We're back at it again. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Let's get it. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sir Hale Speaks Super Sundays. I'm glad that you're here. I wanted to take a moment to tell you guys how much I appreciate you. We've been doing these shows for months now, and you guys have been showing up consistently as we take on and we tackle different challenges and different topics. So I appreciate it. But here's what we're trying to do going forward. We want to grow this audience to people who need to hear content like this. And so we need your help. How can you help us? That's a fantastic question. Be sure to make sure you hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell for all of the content that we have, particularly Super Sundays. All right, guys, sit back, relax, enjoy. Make sure you invite somebody to Sir Hale Speaks Super Sundays. We're getting ready to go in. We're going to have a good time. Happy Sunday, everybody. Let's get to the show.
Me go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. I OD, apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees, go dumb, me go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. I OD, apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. Down, levitate, going up, elevate. Watch me demonstrate. On time, never late. I grind, celebrate. No pump, fake, hesitate. I've been scoring every day. Champagne, Perrier. Since 9-3, been in the box, now I'm stepping up to home. Like straight out the sandlot, now I'm plotting on the globe. I work hard, I show love, that calm and steady grind. Got this far, I go hard, let God take control. I was starving skinny, now my weight up, got no energy for haters. See you trying, see you later. I'm shooting for the stars, need no laser beam blowing like the greatest, but it's one who's always greater. Yo, go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. I OD, apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees, go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. I OD, apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. Smile good, skin clear. This here my year. Hey, look up here. This here my tier. Same fit 4 days. I grind 4 ways. I play no games. All me, no blame. On the wave, my own wave. Can't stop my shine. In the lane, my own lane. Can't stop my grind. 40 yard in the V12 and like 1.5. At 19, I clip 19 in a month, no lie. Oh God. I was starving skinny, now my weight up, got no energy for haters. See you trying, see you later. I'm shooting for the stars, need no laser beam blowing like the greatest, but it's one who's always greater. Yo.